What is going on, y'all? Psych Perspectives GeoFlux. It's about 90 degrees out, humid. I've been working. The day is a little over halfway done. 5 o'clock is almost here. Got 3.5 hours. Almost at the end. But we talking about your boy, your crown prince, Dr. Umar Johnson. And I haven't made a video about Dr. Umar Johnson in years. I mean, trying to think. The last time I made a video about him was like 2020, 2021, maybe 2022. It's been years. Been at least 3 years or longer since I made a video discussing Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, again, I don't know how else to say this, but like, people think fat meat isn't greasy. Um, Time and time again, people have expressed how this man is fraudulent, is a liar, a habitual, pathological liar, um, doesn't is a deadbeat dad, allegations that he was on drugs or utilizing money to do other things like bath houses and prostitutes. All of these are allegations, true and true, right? There's also allegations that some of the degrees that he claimed to have aren't necessarily real either. Again, allegations. Here's the thing. I remember I was in high school, and I've said this in my other videos where I discuss Dr. Umar Johnson. I was in high school getting ready to graduate. I graduated high school in 20 since I graduated high school. I was 17 following Dr. Umar Johnson's journey when he first embarked on wanting to create an African uh, centered uh, education school, particularly for black boys. He made a whole announcement on Facebook at the time. And when I say 2010, I'm literally saying in January of 2010, 15 and a half years ago, when I was 17 and getting ready to graduate high school, January 2010, he made a Facebook post about wanting to create an Pan African centered education academy, private school for black boys. And from there, it turned the following year. I remember he had a whole like infomercial, literally as a fundraising tool, video showing him walking on one of the various now abandoned historical black colleges and universities. It was a abandoned HBCU. This was 2011. And he was walking around and basically expressing why he was raising money so we could purchase the at that time that particular location. And that's where the Pan African Marcus Garvey inspired, um, Frederick Douglass inspired, Pan African inspired education private academy would be for black boys. Then from there, I went to a few of his speaking engagements because he would literally travel, and he still does, travel all across the country and out of the country, speaking about psychology, mental health, cognitive behavioral issues pertaining to ADHD, autism, etc., the school to prison pipeline, all of these things he was speaking about. And at the time, I admired the man. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was intelligent. I thought, this is what we need in our communities. Um, and when I say this, I'm not saying that I think he's stupid either, right? Because I still think that the man has intelligence. But the Dr. Umar Johnson of 2010 is not the Dr. Umar Johnson of 2025, and arguably hasn't been the same person in half a decade. Because if you remember, back in 2019, this is what I mean by this is not new. This is an ongoing thing, right? 6 years ago, I believe it was February of 2019, he made a posting. Mind you, many of us have been donating for years. Um, and I mean, we were donating originally on PayPal. Then, as time went on, he had a PayPal and a PO box. Then, as time went on, it got into the Cash Apps and other, you could other routes. Him selling his books, or the ticket sales. A portion of the ticket sales to his speaking engagements were also supposed to be going to the funding to get the school building to launch this Pan African school for black boys. So as time went on, the timeline kept getting pushed down. 2019, he allegedly purchased a school. It was a charter school in Delaware. And he was making videos on Facebook, on YouTube. I think it was King Consciousness was the YouTube channel. And then, he had numerous Facebook pages and Instagram accounts and things. So he was making his posts, he was live streaming and just showing, like, hey, I purchased the building, I signed the documents, we getting contractors, we getting blueprints, we pulling permits, we got to make renovations. Now we got to raise more additional funding for the renovation, where all this stuff was going on. Then they were supposed to be planning, cleanups where volunteers and supporters of Dr. Umar Johnson, of the Pan African school and the movement, would donate their time, money, and energy to help, community building, to help build the school and get it, restored. But as time went on, we started realizing a lot of additional inconsistencies and discrepancies and just blatant red flags. Um, I started being very critical of Dr. Umar around 2016, 2017. And by the time 2018, 2019 rolled in, I was like, this ain't, this ain't, this ain't. So here we are years and years and years later. Like I said, it's been 15 and a half years for me. Um, and then I officially stopped donating in like 2014, 2015, because I was like, okay, this is every pay period I'm sending a portion of I basically treated it like I was tithing. I was donating to the cause. So I stopped, like I said, 2014, 2015. This was basically right after I finished college, my undergrad, I stopped. And then as time went on, by the time 2016, 2017 came on, I was very much starting to be critical of him. And just as I learned things in college and had experiences, I saw things from a different perspective. It's okay to put down things that no longer make sense. It's okay to unlearn misinformation. It's okay to learn new things. You know, it's okay to admit when you're wrong and take accountability. So I left. But here we are, 2025, and this man is still making live streams and videos, basically panhandling and e-begging for funding for the various things that he needs. And when people were making videos, I think it was Lennon Honor, Monty Woodgrain. There were so many different content creators and YouTubers and just people in general that were speaking out about the discrepancies and the inconsistencies and the fraudulent shit that was going on, including myself. Like I said, I haven't made a video in years now. And I'm just like, we told y'all then that there was a lot of this ain't adding up. And like I said, you constantly pushing the opening date for when the school's gonna open to, and then also he would always, nothing was ever on track in the sense he was all over the place, right? Like 1 minute we're raising funds for the school and we get those funds. Then it's we need to renovate, pull get construct contractors, get blueprints. We need teachers. Then it was, well, I want black women who are natural. Then it was other, like you're doing speaking engagements. You're all over the place. You need like a project manager. You need a project management team. So one person isn't trying to do everything because it's not realistic, as we see with Dr. Umar Johnson. He was all over the place. Now it's just blatantly, I need money. I need y'all to send money so I can live. And arguably, that's what was going on for over 5 years. And if I wanted to be, I'm still giving Dr. Umar the benefit of the doubt, low key. But the reality is, this has been going on for 15 years. I personally don't want to think that he was doing this. He was in this mindset in 2010, but who's to say he wasn't? But I can definitely say over the past 5+ years, it's been shady boots. Um, Shit just does not add up here, and never did. Uh, and the fact that we're constantly trying to justify the crazy shit is what gets me. There's always somebody that's going to come out and say we're hating on a black man, or bring up the fact that, well, in my personal experiences, will bring up the fact that I'm intersex, that I'm trans, that I'm gay, to discredit what I'm saying about Dr. Umar. And I'm just like, okay, because a lot of you, that's another reason why I left. As I learned things and experienced things, I left a lot of the pro black stuff alone. And the out cold part is I'm very much proud to be African American, proud to be black. And at the same time, I don't subscribe to the misogyny, the patriarchal, the male centeredness of everything, the homophobia, the biphobia, the transphobia. There's a lot of things where I'm the colorism, the sexism, the xenophobia. There's a lot of things where I just don't get with, so I had to separate myself from. In my views, in my opinion, in my experiences, um, if you're truly Pan African, you're for every African person, every person that is a descendant from the continent of Africa. Pan Africanism is liberation for all people, including black women, including black transgender people, including black LGBTQIA plus people, including the entire African diaspora, right? Because like you have some pro blacks that are like, no, we only are talking about African Americans. So like if you're Haitian, if you're Dominican, if you're Nigerian, if you're Ghanaian, if you're Sudanese, they're not talking about you, and they have problems with it. What is his name? Tariq Nasheed, if I'm not mistaken, the whole Hidden Colors person. Yeah, I'm not really for all that, so I laugh. And then with Dr. Umar, it was just constant homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, and then just like again, you're getting on people about being accountable and raising the children. and being active parents. Whole time you are a deadbeat to your own daughter, to your own kids. Whole time you are a part of the problem. You're the one creating the single parent households. And then as time went on, when you listen, for me, when I started listening more and more, I'm like, a lot of this is black cis het men not wanting to be responsible for shit. And it's a bunch of, well, I'm blaming the women for everything, even though I'm the man and I'm the one that's supposedly in charge. But somehow the women got me down, and the gay people got me down, and the queer people got me down, and the white person got me down, and but hey, keep giving me your money even though I don't work, and you're just an internet grifter. Now hear me out though. If you are attending his speaking engagements, he's not really grifting. You're paying for entertainment, for information. You're paying for his time to speak. So at that point, that is on you. Now, if he's sitting up, getting on YouTube and making live streams begging for money that's supposed to be going towards funding the school, but the next thing we know, Dr. Umar is in a different country at a bathhouse with a bunch of random women that, guess what, aren't the women he claims to be into, right? Like, it was a lot of shady shit going on. Like, anyways, so to see this 15 and a half years later, and when I was really on it, making videos, especially in 2019, calling out the BS that I was seeing with Dr. Umar. And now we are 6 years out, 6.5 years out. Hell, it's the end of July. It's July 29th, 2025. Um, I don't know what to tell y'all. Outside of the fact that many of us have been saying the same thing for years and we were called haters. If you want to continue to send your money to Dr. Umar Johnson, that is your freedom and your choice to make. I left 10 years ago, so I'm not spending money anymore for that. But if that's what you want to do, by all means, do it. I'm not here anymore to just be like, hey, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. That is approving. Y'all are gonna do what y'all want to do at the end of the day. Um, but let's just be real. A lot of the grifting that goes on in our communities is sickening and disgusting. Because this is money that could really be used to actually help people. And instead, it's being wasted, in my opinion. I'm out.